So for today's tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to do this DIY graphic tee ruched dress. Super easy, super cute. So let's get started. So to get started, you'll need a few items. You need 2 t-shirts, a safety pin, elastic, and bias cording. So I'm going to make this into a dress. I got these 2 shirts from Walmart in the men's section because they have cooler graphic tees in the men's section. So that's an extra large. Got the same size in just a basic color, but it actually goes pretty good with the colors in this shirt. I'm going to add them together to make a dress and then also add some scrunching to it. So yeah, stay tuned. Once you have both shirts, you're going to take the second shirt that'll be added at the bottom. You're going to mark across right under the underarms as shown in this video. So once you cut along that line, you'll have the top portion of the shirt and the bottom portion of the shirt, which will also be your skirt. So now you try on your shirt, and then I wanted mine to start at my waist, so that's where I pinned it. You just try it on for you. You can also add it to the bottom and make it longer, but just remember that you will still have that seam there. So just be mindful of that. So now that you have pinned where you want your shirt to start, you just take that measurement from the bottom, measure on both sides, mark it across, and that will be your line to where you add that second shirt. And don't forget to add your seam allowance for the casing for the elastic. So with right side spacing, you're going to take the top shirt or graphic tee and place it inside the skirt section with raw edges together, and then you'll also pin at 4 points or more. I just pinned in the middle, on the front and back, and also on the side seams. So once you're finished at the sewing machine, you're just going to flip your dress inside out, and this is what you should have. So as I sew, I like to try things on. So from here, if you want to, you can also take it in at the side seam, but just remember you have to correct that casing. The bottom hem, you may also want to take in, but that is something that we can wait for later because it'll also depend on where you place your ruching. If you want a cleaner edge for your waist seam, then you can take it to your serger. Just be mindful to leave an opening for your elastic. All the way around, and I've left the opening, and that's where we're going to add the elastic in with our safety pin. Our elastic on the safety pin, and I just measured the elastic around my waist for the preferred fit. And then we're going to just pipe it through that casing and then stitch it up and then stitch that seam. Once you stitch your elastic casing closed, you're going to get the top portion of the second shirt that you cut, and this is what we'll be making our ruched casing with. So now you're going to want to measure the length of the skirt section just to make sure we have ample enough fabric to make the ruched casing.
So that is about 2¼ inches. You can measure all the way across just to make sure it's the same. Yep, so 2¼
So I cut on the fold 2¼ inches. Once I cut all the way across, I just folded it right sides facing, and I'll be prepping this to sew on the sewing machine.
So we'll make 2 of these.
So now that your casing is right side out, you're going to place that seam of the casing right along the side seam of the skirt section of the dress. So now that you have pinned your casing to the side seam, you can take it to the sewing machine and sew both sides of the casing down. Bottom of the shirt, so your second shirt, this is the inside. We're going to sew both sides, and then once we're done with that, we're going to go on the outside and sew the middle.
Then I'm going to do the other side.
So now that you've sewn the casing on both sides from the inside, we're going to flip the skirt over and stitch right in the ditch of the side seam. So this is the finished look, and then we're going to go back in and add our string and pipe it through, and then we'll top stitch it in the inside. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Once you get the length for the cording, you're just going to attach the safety pin through the cording and then pipe it through the side seam of the casing and take it all the way to the top. And be sure to pin it down because I tried this several times and the cording kept coming out, so just be mindful of that. So if you have any excess casing hanging off the hem or towards the waist, you can cut the excess off, but towards the waist leave about 1/2 inch so we can take that to the sewing machine and sew the casing and cording together. So here's a closer look at the casing. So we're going to just take this to the sewing machine and fold it over and top stitch it. Okay, so if you wanted your ruching to be on the side seam, then you're done. Just do the exact same thing on the other side if that's what you prefer. But if you prefer to have like the ruching on the thigh, you're going to try it on first, mark where you want the middle seam to be, mark it with a piece of chalk, take the pin out, make sure it's even. Okay, so I'm gonna get your ruler, measure out the distance, so that's 7 inches. And since you have elastic here, you're going to have to stretch it out to make sure that it's correct. So here. It may have been a good idea to do that beforehand, before we put the elastic in, but hey, I do, you know, things a little different sometimes. So that's where we're going to have it. And then you're going to get your casing. Where's my new one? Okay, get your casing, flip it inside out. We're going to repeat the same process on the inside and go up. So once you finish your additional casings, you're finished with your dress. I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, like, and share, and I'd love to see your projects. So for a little flair, I added some cute knee-high socks and this denim mini skirt just for a nice color contrast and a cute look. So I paired this with some cute booties and I added my cream hat that I got from ASOS. Complete look for under $30.